Just because last week my mom said I let that play a continuous amount of times, this week only twice. This week, back live on Instagram. Not sure why last week there was a failure to launch, but we are up and in the atmosphere. This time, it's my fight show. I'm Mika Frankl. The website is cageminds.com. Couldn't be doing this without the help of a whole bunch of people. Shout out to Robbie Ray Images. You get on over to Facebook, to Instagram. You like his stuff. Incredible work this past weekend at APFC 22. And even some incredible work from the weekend before. Reign of Champions from Empire Promotions. Yeah, so a whole lot of photos up. We're going to be talking about both of those great events, not to mention getting to Fight World 43 and possibly even going back to Kingdom Fight League with Jimmu Dukes. He's going to be along in just a couple minutes. Our first guest up this evening. Love talking to Jimmy, so we get to get into the Southwest local scene with him. BKFC is at the Mohegan Sun this Saturday night. Their residency coming to an end. We're going to talk to Parker Porter, 3-0, number 4 ranked heavyweight. Talking about heavyweights, Duke City Championship Wrestling. My friends at NWA New Mexico. Tickets still available at holdmyticket.com. Get it, got it, bueno. This Saturday night at the Rey Theater. A lot going on this weekend. And we have the champ. We get to talk to the man, the entertainer, and the Samoan Nightmare all at one time. Saleh Taylor will be here. In our main event, we have the and still APFC Welterweight champion Jalin Fuller here at the end of the night. Like, share, subscribe. Everyone tuning in, all those views are so important and so appreciated. If you just go that little bit further with the like, the share, and the subscribe, you don't know what that does to help us expand around here at Cage Minds. And doing that, again, Robbie Ray Images, and you guys want to help us populate this show with commercials, we can expand the marketing on your business, create the commercials, play the commercials. We got all kinds of ideas. Robbie Ray Media can take care of you and help you get those done. Shout out to the Barber Gabe, not just because of Barber Gabe's fades, but shout out to the victory this past weekend, APFC. We saw the kickboxing pedigree come out of the Barber, and you guys could go see him 100 Course Boulevard. That's Lobo Plaza. It's Suite 107. Check him out this week. He's already back at work, chopping people up in the cage and ready to chop you up to look your best. And not just him, but a whole staff of barbers and stylists. You book online at barbergabefades.net so you don't have to wait. But the walk-ins are appreciated. The Beard Balm, love the product. I'm starting to run low. Probably going to have to pick up some more. The Cherry Barbers Are Us Beard Balm. Yes, that wonderful product. You find that over at barbergabefades.net. And that's where you take care of most of your online business. Talking about taking care of business, we took care of a lot of business this past weekend. We'll be talking with Jimmu Dukes about a lot of it. But there were a couple things last week that I did and I wanted to retouch back on because we were live. We were ingesting it as it happened. BKFC 87, Kai Stewart, unanimous decision. A memory of a left eye that he will never forget. Still closed, a little bit banged up. We will have the champ joining us soon. I wasn't trying to blow him up this weekend. You got to give the champ a week to rest. So Kai Stewart with his future plans, we're going to be talking to him soon. Unanimous decision win. And I've never seen not just one, but 2 challengers in the ring to confront the champion at one time following winning the belt. I've never seen that. And now we have. Now we've seen it in a big confrontation with Brian Duran. Duran as we'll get to it, very successful on the night with a bit of controversy. Derek Pettis is too much of a warrior to bring it up. Derek Pettis would never complain. But was there hair pulling? Was there a amount of grabbing within the clinch situation where the right hands landed that under some circumstances would not be permitted? I dare say that felt like the case, that had not been admonished. I don't believe that there's going to be a commission review, but a big knockout victory for Brian Duran. And yeah, a feeling of a little bit of controversy in there. Duran back victorious in the featherweight division. 1 second. Ever since losing to Kai, had been successful, but had been successful at lightweight. Now back at featherweight, he says he wants a title opportunity. Edgar Palazzola was supposed to be the opposition at BKFC 87. And according to many sources, everyone, a hand injury stopped that fight from happening. And that leads us to seeing Nico Gaffey try to take advantage of the opportunity. Gaffey fought admirably. The damage that he did to the left eye, the overhand rights, going the decision, did some damage. In all, could not fully deal with the champion. Brian Duran, though, whether it's Kai Stewart or whatnot, he will stay active, because just before we got on the show, I saw it was announced Brian Duran already booked for his next fight, April 10th, L Knight Center in Miami, right there in his backyard. He's going to be taking on Kamiko Hall in the dirty boxing ring. We're going to see Brian Duran now in an arena where spinning attacks, elbows, 4-ounce gloves, a lot different for the street fighter who's becoming a bare knuckle boxer, to now go into the dirty boxing realm and take on some interesting martial artists. Kamiko Hall is going to be the opponent, and we'll have to see how he prevails in that bout. Is there any injuries? Does this do anything to change his trajectory, or what could possibly be next for Brian Duran in the BKFC? I did not expect that news today. I knew that we wanted to address Brian Duran. I think there is some cause to say there's controversy in that 9 seconds, but Derek Pettis isn't going to harp on it. The replays may say otherwise. I don't believe there's going to be a commission investigation into it. You look at it as Duran won and we move on. Much the same way that I felt like you could say there was controversy in the Chris Garcia knockdown of Chauncey Wilson. Wilson basically down on his butt, and some were saying sitting on his foot, so it was okay to keep punching him. He was a knockdown fighter at that moment. It's not going to get reviewed. It's not going to get pushed forward. But it is something that it feels like maybe it wasn't as up and clear as we expected. Full results, full story over at BKFC 87 over at cageminds.com. Proud of Derek Pettis. Shout out to Donald Sanchez. So many wars. King of the Cage champion. We've seen him travel around the world to fight for one in Russia. Crazy MMA career. Boxing, going down to Miami. Top prospects fighting on DAZN. BKFC, all the way up to a title opportunity. Doesn't go his way on the scorecards. I thought he did enough to win the first 3 rounds. Still a great career, a much needed victory for Jeremy Smith, who revives himself with that one. Roberto Armas is going to be out there fighting for freedom for the next year, but he made quite an impression at bantamweight one more time. And Juan Carlos Rivera, quite an opportunity for him here in the near future, I think, to continue to grow. Leonardo Perdomo, heavyweight title shot or bust. Dave Feldman in the post-fight press conference, if you guys didn't see, he was talking about 37,000 seat possibility. We're gonna go from Seminole Hard Rock to past the stadium to like a actual, or past an arena to a stadium. That's what BKFC is talking about doing, possibly in South Florida, a market they have heavily invested in. Also breaking news today that came out of basically nowhere. Justin Ibarola, BKFC Bantamweight champion, recently had come under fire from Kai Stewart for almost immediately after winning the bare knuckle title, threw on the gloves, went and fought in the Misfit Boxing organization. And today, Dave Feldman jumps on the bare knuckle show and announces that Ibarola has relinquished the bantamweight title. He basically citing that Ibarola doesn't want the responsibility of being tied to the promotion, of having to be that important. And it sounds more like, let's read between the tea lines here real quick. It more sounds like Ibarola doesn't want to be a one promotion man. Ibarola wants some opportunities to keep the gloves on, to take the gloves off. And if you're going to be a BKFC champion, outside of John Dotson, who's been able to work his deal where he's been able to fight for Ryzen, which, just my own thought, I think because John has been fighting outside of the promotion, I don't think they've loved that. And I wonder if that's been some of the reason that he's been sidelined. Just speculating. That's just me. Haven't talked to anybody. Haven't asked John. But they seem pretty heavily influenced to want their champions to just be bare knuckle fighters. Justin Ibarola made it clear that he has other aspirations. And now we're going to get the former boxing champion, Jermell Herrig, and UFC vet Nate Maness battling for the vacant title, May 22nd, Palm Desert. 1-0, 2-0, I believe. Let me get that right, actually. I'm gonna be too disrespectful. Let's look it up real quick. Nate Maness, BKFC. Yeah, there it is. 2-0. Third round, second round knockout. I was correct when I said 2-0. And he will get the fight of his life, May 22nd. Jermell Herrig, and an opportunity at the BKFC Bantamweight title. I truly didn't expect that kind of news when I turned into the bare knuckle show, when they were talking about a champion and having updates on a division. This weekend, also, don't forget, the PFL was in Spain, Madrid, a huge first maiden voyage for them. And congratulations, all the appreciation to Costello Van Steins stifling the wrestling attack of Fabian Edwards and kneeing him into another spectrum of existence. Van Steins, and still, pretty sure later with Jalin Fuller, we'll get some time to talk about the PFL. But for who Van Steins will be fighting next, PFL is in Pittsburgh this weekend. And you get a main event of Johnny Eblin, Brian Battle. That is a title eliminator if the PFL ever had one. Looking forward to that one immensely. AJ McKee this weekend. He obliterated the legs. He obliterated the body. He kept Adam Borish at bay, and he should be in the next PFL featherweight title fight. There were some cool knockouts. We got all the results at cageminds.com. We have our first guest of the day. I think he's ready. I believe he's there. He's looking strong. He's had a long weekend. He's had a busy month. We're going to talk all about it with Jimmu Dukes.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
How you doing? You made it home safe?
Yeah, man, I sure did, man. It was a busy weekend, but it was awesome, man, for sure.
Okay, so just this weekend specifically, did you carpool with the team?
I did. I rolled with Warriors Lair out of El Paso, Texas. They had two guys out at APFC 22, so shout out for them. I jumped in the trunk and came along for the ride.
I was about to ask what that was like in the car, but I guess you don't know if you said in the trunk. All right.
Right? The Muay Thai pad stuff is more important in the back seat than little old me. But yeah, man, shout out to them for having me tag along with them and take care of them for the weekend. It was a great experience.
And I think I'm even going to, I sent you a list of stuff we were going to talk about, and it's me. So I'm going to start off with something that I didn't put on that list just for you.
All right.
If we go even further back, because I was like, oh, wait, the last 2 weekends, you've done 3 events.
Yes.
3 weeks and 4 events, right?
Let's see. It was
it Kingdom?
Empire? No, Kingdom. That was a little further back.
Oh, that was.
No, yeah. Empire was 2 weeks ago. Then we had the 2 back to back this weekend.
Okay, so I was a little bit off, but yeah, 3 and 3 weekends. You were doing commentary, and I guess we will talk about it then. First off, Empire, Reign of Champions, main event. What were your thoughts? You're on the call.
Man, Peter, El Vaquero Caraballo. I like saying that. Really good. And versus Alejandro Quero. That was their main event. For me, for a lot of people that don't know, I'm just starting to learn a lot of the different people and just the Southwest and everything. But yeah, Peter came in as a main event. He had mad experience, Muay Thai, MMA, and he was going there against another pro, Alejandro Correo. He had got that win at Fight World where he beat Jennings. So I was excited to see what he was going to go out there. But man, back and forth battle for the main event. But Peter ended up getting that submission to end the night. And when he won, they brought in Anthony Burchek. Apparently, him and Anthony Burchek are the next main event for the Empire show. So I thought that was pretty cool.
So have you ever heard of Maximum Fighting Championships? Have you ever heard of MFC?
No, man. No. And I'm always honest because I've only kind of been on the scene for like under 2 years. So there's so much stuff I don't know or the history. So I always love being schooled and educated for sure.
All right. So this actually isn't even an American promotion. This is how far I go back with the man you just mentioned, with El Toro, with Anthony Burchak, with him schooling me on something on Twitter. I think I've been interviewing him since, it was 2013 when he was fighting. Well, 2012 when he came out here to New Mexico to fight, and 2013 when he started fighting in a ring in Canada before getting to the UFC.
Crazy. That is
so dope. He's going to come back.
Yes. So apparently that had been in the talks. I had heard wind of it, but for me and you, I mean, we hear your stuff all the time, but until it gets announced, I always just tell people, hey man, this is going to happen. Can't wait for you guys to announce it. But yeah, sure enough, Mr. Burchak was there and they faced off right after the win. And I thought it was pretty good, excited for Tony to come back and, Peter to come back up here in the Las Cruces, New Mexico area to fight Burchak, man. Excited to see how that goes, man.
And Anthony had been down there, I believe, in El Paso a couple times recently with the promotion that's hat you're wearing with CFC. Wasn't he an MC for them, a event host?
Yeah, he's their multi-talented. We call him Uncle Theo. Tony, man, he great announcer, man. He's been doing that for them for over the past year and a half, I want to say. And he enjoys doing that. He coaches. He had a bunch of guys fight at the actual Empire card as well. They went 2-2. But I know he's been itching to get back in there. So the fact that they ended up making that work out, it's exciting just for the sport, and especially for our area for sure.
Shout out El Toro Tech and all the teams out there in Arizona. Been a while, but I knew I saw that familiar face in the cage.
Yeah.
Last time I saw him, I hugged him in the middle of an intersection in Las Vegas as we were like crossing by. And I was like, wait, I know this man.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Middle of the night. Yeah, exactly. Hey, who's grabbing me? Oh, wait, I know him. We stood there, talked. You know how long Vegas intersections last.
Yeah.
Still ran off before the light moved. But yeah, I love that guy. Great to hear that fight's going to be happening. What did you think of that ruckus and crazy amateur card, though? And even, the ruckus crazy amateur card where all these title fights were just dramatic finishes.
Dude, we had the 115 strawweight for men. First title that I know of in the Southwest, the first fight in that division for men, and God knows how long. But yeah, Brendan Willard actually fought at 125 for the title. The last event, he got offered a title shot at 115 against a stud of Jorge Garcia. The guys were supposed to fight at 125 like a year ago, but they meet at 115, and Brendan goes in there and just subs Jorge in the first round. He pops everything off. He was a local kid. He got that win, so it was exciting to see that and call that.
You had that one, follow it up by, and I saw him at the weigh-ins, unfortunately. I told Santi Gonzalez, we've always wanted to see you go viral. Unfortunately, not every time you go viral is it going to be in the form and fashion you want it to. But as we can joke, because he can learn, his wrestling was looking better.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited to see what was going to happen with, Gabo Peñado and Santi. I've known Santi for the past year and a half. I've been keeping up with him. He's a killer. He's been working on that ground game, and they were both obliging for a stand-up game, but actually Santi mixed it up, went for a takedown, and the most craziest knockout that I have personally seen, and I've been watching MMA for a long time, but it was so odd. Went for the takedown. He went for what is it called, the can opener. He was pulling Santi's head, or Santi was pulling his head on top, and Gabo he does this in practice. Guys were telling me somebody just does that. He just does that to kind of get you thinking, not for like a knockout punch, but right. I don't know what the physics and the medical, but right when he tagged him twice, Santi was out before he even got rolled over. Gabo finishes the fight and won the title, man. The arena was crazy.
I wouldn't know what the technical terms are, but I'm going to guess that there was an exact nerve that he clocked at the same time that shut everything off, right?
Yeah, dude, because, I mean, I've seen Santi in some wars, you know what I mean? And he's not a light guy, but for that to happen was crazy. And another thing, too, and he's all right. I checked him with him that day. 2 days later, I saw him this past weekend. But, yeah, that was so odd. The way that happened was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And yeah, he got that win and got the title, man. So I'm excited for Gabo to see what he's got going on next, because that kid's a killer as well. And, Santi ends up losing 3 in a row now in title fights. And I know he's going to go back and keep fighting, because that kid does not quit. So excited for, what they both do moving forward.
For Santi, it's just a little bit of time to go back, maybe just work on some things and adjust right now. Gabo, yeah, keep moving forward. That was a big one. We had seen him at APFC a while ago, and this is a huge way to build now 3 in a row since that experience, and the last 2 being knockouts. Great victories for him. Not to mention, talking about knockouts, it went to 3 rounds, and you got to indulge in it and enjoy. So how good of a fight was Gallegos Ortiz, as we had been hyping that one up for a while?
Bro, I almost passed out on the pay-per-view yelling, because we watched the Gabo fight, and I was just like, ugh. And then we had the fight right after that, and these guys came out just tagging each other, defending, using grappling. They were both going toe-to-toe, and ended up going to the 3rd round. They dropped each other at least 2 times each. I want to say Angel had dropped Alexis a couple more times, but there was a lot of grit from Alexis. The fact that he was able to come back and defend after being dropped, and Angel got dropped, man, it was wild. I was losing my voice, and that was only like halfway through the card. But yeah, Angel gets another one, man. 5 finishes, 5 in a row. Man, this guy's on a tear.
A killer, just certifiable right now, whether it's standing, whether it's on the ground. He is showing that he has all of the potential on a night to put all the skills together.
Definitely, man. Definitely. And excited for him. I know that he, took some time away, and then he's really been on it now. So excited for that SFS product to see what happens from there.
There was a ton of finishes on this card. There was a ton of fights on this card. If you find the results, guys, there's like first round finish,
Yep.
first round finish,
Yep.
second round, first round, second round, first round, first round. Couple decisions sprinkled in here.
Yes, it was crazy, man. Like I said, it was 17 fights that night, and man, I was losing my voice, but man, it was a great card. The matchmaking, all fighters on both sides came out to fight at the Pan Am, and it was a great showing.
Of all the people I didn't mention, was there a name that was still sticking out to you that needs some recognition? Sorry to put you on the spot on that one.
I mean, there's a bunch of guys. I mean, you had, and this is just me because I know a lot of the people for that promotion. You know what I mean? AJ the Disciple gets another win at 45. He could be in the mix, you know, pretty soon with Isaiah Delgado, who got a win as well. He's 3-0 as well for their promotion. Juan Caramillo came from Tucson, and he got a spectacular finish as well. Jude Smith got another TKO. Lexi from, I'm not mistaken, Phoenix or Tucson, Lexi Hill. It was the only female fight on the card. She went out there and got a spectacular TKO in the first round. But man, it was an exciting card, and I think everybody was just happy that we were back in the Pan Am, and everybody was showing out for everybody in the crowd and on the pay-per-view, man. The pay-per-view was crazy as well, man.
So we go from that to then you're picking up a camera. Next time I see you, you're running around. It's Fight World. We don't have the amount of fights. We don't have that crazy card, but what we still had was a couple dramatic finishes, some great decisions. Ozzy Chavez, Joseph Velez. I knew there was no way that was getting out of the first round, and doesn't disappoint as Velez gets the takedown. Ozzy goes for the submission. We get the sweep, the ground and pound, but that was still generally as exciting as just I thought it was going to be delivered.
Yeah, I know we only had 8 fights on the card, but they were all still exciting. You know what I mean? I just feel like even though it was a smaller card, the people did fight on the card, you know, put on a great show at the Revel. Still, everybody was still, you know, running around having a good time and, you know, supporting the local fighters. But yeah, that main event, I thought it was going to last a lot longer. I've seen Veloz fight before. He actually fought for Empire about a year ago. And, you know, he had took some time off, and he said he was really working on himself. And he looked great. I mean, he looked fit. He looked good to go. But yeah, I mean, it seemed like that jujitsu like little sweep, you know, led to the start of the end, right?
I want to say it's something like 6 out of his 8 fights or 9 fights that he has now have ended in the first round. And Ozzy is like 5 out of his 6 fights. So that I had like all my money on this one is not getting out of the first 5 minutes. Just knowing those two guys, there's no off switch, and they really did go for it. Much earlier on in the night, the very first fight actually from the amateurs, as we get into them, because I saw him when we were leaving APFC. I stopped Chris Otero Talent. I was like, what did you think about this? He hit Thomas Haney so hard that Haney looked like a zombie. The amount of blood that was just gushing
that was
out of his nose.
I think it broke his nose, bro. Like, and he still fought for 2 more rounds. Oh shit. It was crazy.
And even Chris is like, he just kept walking forward. What was that guy made of?
Yes, dude. That kid is tough. Alamogordo, man, out of Desert Dynasty, man. That kid is tough. I've seen him fight all 3 times, man, and he's not a quitter. Even though he was getting his butt kicked a little bit, he still kept coming forward, and he could have tapped out or give it out any time, and he kept going forward, so respect to him.
It's just that ridiculous toughness where it looked like, I didn't ask Chris about this. I don't know if you ask a fighter this one, but it's like, did you tire out from punching him? It looked like he might have got some of that fatigue. I just dumped my load right here. I was trying to finish you, man.
The Alamogordo zombie is what we might call him forward.
The Alamogordo. And funny that we're going to be talking about this card because they might have been watching live. Shout out El Paso. I think Zen was watching. They sent me an image on my Instagram of Ruben Luna practicing the ninja choke for this fight. And he catches Mr. McDonald, our guest last week, Alistair McDonald, with the first exchange. Somehow the head gets pulled down, a ninja choke to a high elbow guillotine. I don't know how he got out of either one of them. The back was against the cage, and we're just from the media section, like, oh, this is not good. This is in. And somehow Alistair escapes. Beautiful back take and a submission by rear naked choke. But that was just a incredible sequence of jiu-jitsu from Ruben.
Yeah, the way he attacked the neck, you know what I mean? And I'm not like the most technical, whatever, and all the chaining, but he just seemed like he did one thing that led to another, and kept chaining the attacks to where it just was, he kept the pressure on, so McDonald didn't really have a time to breathe. So eventually it was like, oh, dang, now I'm stuck. Now I'm fighting this rear naked choke. And it's like, oh, dang, fight's over. And, you know, Ruben gets another finish already. And that's another finish on his little streak that he's been on lately, 3 in a row.
Johnny Cecil versus Cameron Page. So many different side stories to this fight. Because first, just on the outlook of it, we don't have a lot of Taekwondo guys. We both know one. We know Richard Jennings. Not many Taekwondo guys coming over. Bates Taekwondo, known here in Albuquerque, up in the Heights. And to have that kind of background, a lot of pressure, have been cross-training over Fit and HB, getting the MMA feel, and then to have an opponent in Cameron Payne, who I believe probably already deployed by the time we're doing this show. And Mr. Page out there fighting for our country. He is also deployed, much like we mentioned, Roberto Armas serving our country, but wanted to come back here and fight first. That one was an absolute war for the bit over 2 rounds it lasted.
Body kicks, man. I would, man, they were going at it, and then his cup fell out. Remember, his cup fell out. And that was funny because they were like, "Hey, why does he have a tie one?" But yeah, that they fixed the malfunction. But those guys were, you know, taking turns, and not much ground game on that one, right?
I think the commission was imploring fighters after that to get fresh cups and fresh shorts, but an absolute war to come off base, to run into the cage on a weekend off before deployment real quick.
Man, I love hearing that. I didn't know that. That's badass.
And to take a literal kicking, his legs, his body, that was a heck of a war. And maybe Page would have had a bit better go at it had he been able to have been here locally and doing his normal training running into the fight. But yeah, make sure you got a good cup, everybody, if you're going to go compete.
Yeah. They were saying that actually at APFC. They're like, hey, we had a malfunction yesterday. Y'all need to get your cups together.
We had 2 split decisions on the card. Alfredo Alvaro over Damon Haloma, and Irving and Chondo over Bo Velasquez. I tend to agree with the judges then that they got these ones right.
Yeah, I know from Damian from Zen, this was a little test for him because he's already won twice in a row there. And now he was fighting Beast Boy, who has a little bit more experience. So I was excited to see, you know, Beast Boy's been he's been on a slump. So he's fighting a kid that was on, on a rise. And he was able to do enough to get the job done. So I love seeing young talent when they get tested. Because, you rattle off 2 or 3 wins in an amateur and you're like, okay, you're feeling yourself. And then now you start running into some guys that may have lost 1 or 2 and they were on that same little trajectory. And then all of a sudden Beast Boy's like, no, man, you're not by me. And, congratulations to him for getting that win. And the other one, I didn't see it. I think I had walked away at that time. But I don't think I heard anybody say, oh, that should have gone the other way for either of them.
And shout out Killian Carter for kicking Devin Gomez so hard. I've never seen someone's legs turning black and blue while still in the cage fighting.
Man, heavy. When somebody says, oh, heavy leg kicks, those were heavy leg kicks, man. And Carter's a dang tank, man. That guy is a tank. I've seen him fight twice now. And but yeah, it was cool for seeing him go in there. I thought he was supposed to fight at APFC. Then it fell off, and then he got this one. So I'm glad he was able to get that fight in there.
We are going to have the champion. Jalin Fuller will be here tonight, about an hour away, a little bit more, 7:40 tonight. We got Parker Porter coming up in a few minutes. Saleigh Taylor, the Duke City Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, is going to be here in a couple minutes. So we got about 10 left as we try to make it through APFC. So unfortunately, we're going to have to do this one a little bit quicker, but we'll start off with Jalin Fuller. He never ceases to amaze me how impressive he is. Takes his time, analyzed, I think got mad, went in there for a kill, and then found it.
Yeah, dude. And that was the main event, right, at APFC, if I'm not mistaken. And it was like, I didn't know the caliber of the other guys. So like, I'm still learning a lot of the guys. But when I was kind of talking to them, everybody was buzzing for that fight, when everybody was buzzing. And I liked how you said it. He took his time. He got that finish. And then he said, hey, with all due respect, you know what I mean? This guy was supposed to be on his way to the UFC. And like, here I am defending this title and, beating these guys. And man, I thought that was an amazing performance for sure. What did you think about it?
It was scientifical. It was methodical. And this summer we have a contender series coming up. This should get the call. Jalin Fuller deserves that opportunity. As APFC said, the most exciting welterweight not signed to the UFC. There are a lot of great Russian wrestlers, but the UFC wants knockouts. They want finishes. They want violence. Submission of the year 2 times, knockout of the year, 3 fights in APFC. Jalin has earned this opportunity. He's a gentleman everywhere but in that cage.
The gentleman, right? He's a super nice guy. That was the first time I've heard of him. That was the first time I've seen him. He treated everybody with respect, but he's a killer, man. He is sure is a killer. And at the face-offs, they got a little I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I was excited because I'm a fan always first. So the fact that I get to see a lot of these guys that I've heard of fight in person, it was amazing. And what a great event as well at APFC.
From your neck of the woods, James Pleasant, the team has even messaged me and asked me what I thought. And I'm like, I thought at worst it was 49-46. I thought James just took his foot off the gas in the 5th round. Maybe it showed a little bit of fatigue. I was like, maybe all he needs a little bit more 5-round experience, but he controlled the fight. He controlled the distance. He peppered away and he frustrated a very veteran fighter to not be able to get the fight going in any direction. The high kicks he was aware of, the takedowns he was aware of. It was a very good, but not the most crowd-pleasing performance ever.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, one thing I did say, and I was asking people around me, because I never want to be the type of person like, oh, I know this, I'm saying this out of pocket. But I felt like Emmanuel was like a legit older veteran pro that was just in his face and was not fazed by the head kicks, not fazed by the attacks. But on James' credit, he made sure he stayed up, he was scoring. I mean, it's not a crowd-friendly fight, but I mean, I thought James did enough to win the fight for sure. And the fact that he might have slowed down, yeah, but he was attacking the whole time. It's not like they were falling all over the place or whatever. It went all 5 rounds. It lacked luster, but there was a lot of technique going on there for sure.
The body kicks. Emmanuel had a rough weight cut. And he was low pudgy in the middle. He was a 45er for a long time, a little bit older. Weight cuts are harder. I thought the body attacks were all a great idea. But before we get you out of here, let's talk about the amateur card. You know more about a lot of those guys. Isaiah Soleita still needs to come on the show. We were still clowning him for ignoring me last week, but it looked like he put together using his frame, using his reach, and this is kind of the tape that the team is going to show him. This is how you need to fight.
Yeah, man. I mean, how many fights does he have? Like 50? But man, all jokes aside, anytime, anytime, anywhere, he looked good. After fighting in Alamogordo not too long ago, and he actually fought Elijah Quinn, they went back and forth. And he came out swinging, putting the pressure on Jawan. And, he was flowing. I had messaged him out. Hey, man, you were flowing. I was in their corner, actually. I wanted to give shout out. I'm officially 3-0 as a second corner. If anybody ever needs any second corner coaches out there. But it was dope hanging out with Otero Combat Sports. that Isaiah looked amazing and got that finish. I thought that was amazing for him.
And then who else's corner were you in?
I was with the Warriors, so we had Gabriel Sejas one shot fighting Mike Sell, actually out of Otero Combat Sports as well. And Gabe looked good. He's had a couple finishes in his combat career, and this was a test for him as far as like veteran and more fights. He passed the test. Then, of course, I was there as well with the Curly, Jeremy Robles. Man, what a bloody fight toward the end with Elijah Quinn. And he got that choke to finish that as well. That was exciting for me to be with those guys in that corner and get that footage and just kind of be a part of it. And what else on that amateur card?
I was walking out. I was exhausted at the end of the night. I quickly told Jeremy, I believe, congratulations on the fight, but you're not wrong. The way he was walking him down, the way he was firing those hooks, the body shot, and then stuffing the takedown to get the Darius choke. That was a beautiful performance. Really good stuff from him. I wanted to throw that win on top. Clinton,
yes,
Whitmere, if you didn't see that one, the heart that he showed to grapple through this ridiculously broken foot and somehow get the back and submit Quayshawn Randleson when the two of them just kept exchanging. It looked like they were fighting on a pat of butter.
Dude, I had heard after, like, he hurt his foot in the first round. I guess they said it was the first kick. And I was like, didn't that go like 2 rounds?
I don't know how he kept having the energy to keep scrambling. At some point I thought, oh, he's just going to lay there.
It's not even energy. It's just like the pain to be able to go through that much pain. And that's why I jokingly always say this, but it's true. This is why we're media and we're not fighters, because to have that grit and determination to be like, my foot's broken, I'm going to just keep moving forward. And I think I look back at it, I don't think he ever looked down once.
No, I don't think so either. And talking about that, Roberto Valenzuela, last time he lost via cut. This time he didn't lose via cut, but this is the problem about getting cut. That same cut just opened again. Gabe opened it. He was bleeding everywhere. And for a wrestler that we know is the Barber, who had to show some of that, he did a lot of efficient striking on the night as well.
Yeah, man, he pushed him up against the cage, made him work, was throwing punches. And Valenzuela, like, yeah, you're right. That scar tissue, right? You know, that scar tissue. I remember back in the days with the Diaz brothers and Vanderlei, like, that was the first time I ever heard of that kind of stuff. But it's true. You get that cut. And if you just kind of smear it, it just opens up. But it was back and forth battle. You know what I mean? But I felt like Gabe did enough to win for sure.
Oh, and also shout out RJ Mendoza. Eric Ortega, it looked like he was wrapping up that guillotine, and then the script got flipped on him, the power bomb, and as he slammed down to the ground, all the wind's just knocked out, and he's getting pounded on. So heads up for Mendoza on that one. And Jacob Snowick, he went 100 right out the gate, and I think Johnson wanted to feel his distance, kind of get to know the fight, and Jacob just jumped right on him and never relented.
Man, like, and the thing about all those fights too, there was a lot of guys I've never even heard of, but now they're on my radar. The fact that, you know, they're able to bring in so much different talent and some of the guys from this area as well to fight. That's when we started moving up toward the pro card, right?
Yeah. We're probably not gonna have time to get through all of that real quick, but everybody, we have solved the debate. You're not going to like me to say it. You're not going to want to hear it, but I truly think you got to stay in your lane a little bit. Like, you got to commit to the game to get good at the game. And 0-10 in combat sports overall in his professional career. We're talking karate, boxing, MMA versus 7-2 and a nearly fought world champion caliber boxers. Boxers box, MMA fighters do MMA. Deontay Butts smothers to a submission Antonio Zapata. We have seen Abigail Montes beat the GOAT Carissa Shields. MMA boxing, 2 different things right now, and that's what that heavyweight fight just shined out to me, because it looked cool on the feet for like 30 seconds, and then Butts got in the inside, got that down, and Zapata basically fared how I expect I would in a fight.
Yeah, like when everybody was walking out there, you see the physiques, obviously, the height. Everybody's like, oh man, bet the house on the other guy. There was some people around, bet the house. But Butts, man, I actually shout out to him. We were in the back and he's all, come on, blue corner, let's go. Like he was trying to get everybody hyped. He had no corner. Shout out to the Peak brothers. They were his corners. He didn't even have a corner. Went out there, it got that dub with the mother's milk. Come on, man. You can't write that kind of stuff, bro.
Shout out to Pettis Fighting Systems. It's always like that. They will help out anybody. Ezra Peak was supposed to be on the card, and when a couple fighters didn't have corners, it was Deontay Butts. It was also Darius Crutcher. You saw the Peak brothers jumping in there to lend a helping hand. Two general studs from those gentlemen to always bring a helping hand. I'm sure I'm going to hit the rest of this card when we talk to Jalin Fuller. What does Jimmu Dukes have going on next?
Man, I think we got a break, but I think we got CFC actually next month. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be an all-pro card down here in El Paso at the County Coliseum. So shout out to CFC. They're moving venues. They were at a casino. Now they're at a Coliseum, like one of the venues, a historic venue here in El Paso. And that card is, I think, April 20 something or mid to end of April, but excited for that. As far as me, I'm taking a break. We got three events in 2 weeks. I need a break, buddy.
Where are we going to find all your photos, all the videos, everything I saw you running around doing this weekend?
Oh man, yeah. If you guys want to check me out, Jimmu Dukes Combat on Instagram. That's where I just do all my MMA and combat sports content. And then if you want to watch anything like the interviews and anything long term, it's Jimmu Dukes Rodriguez on YouTube. So if you guys want to check me out, I appreciate you, man. And thank you, bro. It's always a pleasure seeing you and running into you and getting to know you. And I respect the hell out of everything you do, bro. So I appreciate you having me on, man.
Respect the hustle, man. You have a good night, and we'll see you soon. I know it.
Yes, sir, man. You take care, bro. Later, guys.
Jimmu Dukes doing photos, doing behind-the-scenes media, doing interviews, a lot with the Las Cruces and El Paso fighters. So shout out to him, what he's doing, the content he is producing. CageMinds.com is where you find what I'm doing. It's Cage Minds Combat Sports News on Facebook and YouTube. Cage Minds _CSN across the rest of the social media. This weekend, Overtime Bar and Grill, Nowhere to Run Kickboxing Series. Sources say it might be the last time you can see that promotion in this amateur form here in Albuquerque. Maybe things will change, but it's a great reason to get out this Saturday and support the local amateurs over 18 who are going to be competing. Or you get down to the Rey Theater, Duke City Championship Wrestling, NWA New Mexico. Get it, got it, bueno. We are going to have Saleh Taylor here tonight. There's a whole ton of action, and I think our next guest is ready right now to get to talk to BKFC Fight Night Mohegan Sun headliner Parker Porter. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. Gotta ask you first off about what this means to you. This opportunity with BKFC has presented you the opportunity to continue to fight at home in front of your people right there in Connecticut.
It's huge, man. It makes things a lot more manageable for me. I have 3 kids and a wife, and I'm a small business owner. I just made the jump to being full time at my gym that I own, so not having to travel, for long periods of time or be away from home, it puts a lot less pressure on me in terms of having to make sure everything's covered and taken care of and making arrangements for this or that. Pick the kids up here, drive them there, and make sure this class is covered that way and that class is covered this way. So that genuinely means a lot to me in that sense, in the logistics side. And then, of course, who doesn't want to fight in front of a hometown crowd? You have support from really everybody in that.
It's just up the road. It's right there. The Mohegan Sun Arena. It's been a great experience for you. Did you expect this going into bare knuckle? You took a little time off after the UFC. Was it an easy transition to commit to this company, to go into another combat sport and to believe in this process?
It was easy after the first fight. The first fight was, I was hesitant because it's obviously something new, something kind of foreign in the sense of I've been doing MMA now for 16, 17 years. This is just a little bit different rule set in the sense of like, you're not going to be kicking or taking anybody down to the ground, trying to submit them or anything. So I was nervous about that. The thing I was most nervous about was that I was going to possibly get rocked and just go into autopilot and maybe shoot a double leg.
Has
And
there
then get DQ'd. But after that first fight, man, I was just like, oh shit, this is like lightning struck my head. Duh, you're supposed to be here.
So the instincts, there was no throw a knee, throw a kick. You fought those instincts off?
Correct. Yeah.
What was it about that first outing that you said it just connected?
It just it was something that just felt so natural to me. Whereas I had to work really hard to get good at MMA of things, especially if you're not a naturally born grappler. That was always a more difficult side. I did wrestle when I was growing up, so that was always very foreign, and I had to do extra work to get better at that. It was also difficult to find guys my own size to grapple with. You don't necessarily need heavyweight to spar with, train with. If you have somebody who's got a similar reach, you're obviously not going to sit down on your punch at 100% power of somebody you have 100 pounds on, but you can work the distance management, you work the timing, movement, everything else can be worked around. So it just made things so much more instinctive. Striking was always something I gravitated towards anyways with my MMA career. And now I was like, well, that's you. And well, yeah. I don't know. I really can't explain it too much, man. It's just a part through all the different martial arts styles, punching and kicking always just like made the most sense to me. It was the easiest one for me to follow in terms of like, well, duh, I'm winning. I hit him more times or I hit him harder. I think having that football background, I could lean into that toughness side of things. We're like, oh, I got hit, but I'm still here and I'm going to hit back even harder.
A lifelong competitor, and you have the stint with the UFC. You get past that. Was it still the competitive juices were flowing, or were you thinking if the right offer didn't approach you that you might have been done competing?
Yeah, I was nervous that the right thing wouldn't come along necessarily in terms of like something that made sense monetarily, because you are at a level where there's a significant amount of sacrifice and time put into it, and it just has to make sense. Like there's a bare minimum that you're willing to, knowing your own value, there's a bare minimum of what you'll accept in terms of like, yeah, I'll go do this. So that was the scariest part, was making sure that it made sense financially, and but yeah, as far as the competitive side, that never lulled one bit, and thankfully I've always had the support of everybody around me.
You talked about how the fight felt, but what was the moment like, that walkout for the first event, for your return after a year and a half away, and you walk out in front of your people in a packed Mohegan Sun, there's the smoke, there's the extra feel of the BKFC. What was that moment like?
I felt like I was coming home, after being away for years. It felt like, man, it was just great. It was the greatest feeling in the world. I felt so jacked up. I was so amped up, so excited. Couldn't wait to put everything on display for all my friends and family and fans, and to do it at home in a brand new way. It just felt like, man, I got something so special here. I need to really take this in.
When you hear that Mohegan Sun is so excited about the show that they have a residency schedule with BKFC. Did you already know that this was your golden ticket, that this was your pathway to make a name in this division?
Absolutely. I'd have to be stupid not to. With between how much I enjoyed it, between the performance of the debut fight, and then, like finding out all about that, I was like, yeah, like we got this. Let's dive into this 100%, both feet, cannonball in the deep end. We're not coming up for air.
All the chips are in the table. You're all in on the sport. I love that. You go 2-0. We see you in the rankings. And then the last time we saw you, the last event of the year, what are you thinking in those moments? Because we got a first knockdown where you're on top of the world. And then everything goes a little hazy with 3 knockdowns in a row on your side. Can you just fill us in on what the thought process is in that fight?
There is no thought process, man. You kind of go into autopilot, and it's just like, all right, you got hit. Keep hitting. Don't give up. You make sure you pick your ass up every time you hit that canvas. If it happens again, get up. You don't stop. You don't stop. Like, and I think I said that after the fight. It was like that's just my mentality when I'm in there. I'm competitive, and this just happens to be a game where it's super violent, but you're still going to have to kill me to stop me, man. You got to really put me out cold. You got to do something to actually break my body. You'll never break my spirit.
Did you feel that hurt? Like cognitively, like how hurt were you somewhere around that second, third knockdown?
I never didn't know where I was. Does that make sense? I
Yeah,
always
so
knew what was going on. It literally just felt like, I was kind of like, boom. I'm like, ah, my fucking leg shut off again. God damn it. Somebody go flip the breaker. We're losing power. Like it was that kind of mentality. It never like lost consciousness or anything. I remember even being in the corner after the first round. My coach is talking, and he's a really soft spoken guy, Ed Thornton. And he's like telling me, he's giving me direction. I'm just trying to listen, and I don't hear very well to begin with. I got strong ADHD, and when there's a lot of background noise, I can't make things out. I'm like, Ed, you got to speak up. I can't fucking hear you, brother. And he just kind of laughed and started speaking louder. I think that was his little bit of reassurance that like, oh, okay, he's still in there. This isn't as bad as it looks. All right, let's get back out there and execute this game plan.
you land your left hand. Do you know that you land the shot that well when you land it on Anthony, that you got him in the eye, that was a one that he might not get up from?
I mean, there's that particular one. No, I didn't know I landed it that well. You're kind of in such a melee, and with something like that where you're just in such a brawl, you feel every punch landing, but with it being such rapid succession, you don't necessarily notice the difference in impact. There have been plenty of times in the past where I'm like, oh, that one hurt. That one rocked him. He's probably not getting back up from that one. But for me, it was just keep going. Like I didn't know that was going to be the one.
You're into the moment. You're into the melee. When you rewatch the fight, what are you thinking?
Keep your fucking hands up, dummy. Move your head. Keep your hands up, move your head. Why are you not doing a single thing that you practiced in camp? Like, how did you let yourself get sucked into this? Stay on your toes. Don't be flat. I just planted my feet and started brawling, man. And I rewatched that fight, and I'm like, oh, Jesus, my poor wife and kids in the audience going through an emotional roller coaster. Yeah, that's about it when I see that.
Is there a way to try to approach this fight with Hayes Wilson, our main event Saturday night, and try to not make it such a brawl?
Absolutely. I can be very technical. I just, for some reason, when he hit me and we started exchanging, that was, one of those kind of primal things of just turning it into a pissing contest. And thankfully, I could piss farther on that one. But yeah, with Hayes Wilson, you can expect me to be a little bit more calm, cool, and collected. You're going to see me be sharper, be more intelligent. You're going to actually box instead of just brawl. And it's going to be explosive.
Is the Anthony Garrett fight one that later, when you got the grandkids, you're around the fire at the holidays, is that going to be one of the stories you're telling them?
Probably. If it's not the one that I'm telling, it's definitely the one the wife and the kids are going to bring up. That's for sure. Like, your grandpa scared the shit out of me. Blah blah blah.
What scares you? What presents the biggest challenge about Hayes Wilson, a guy that's a load of experience in the kickboxing realm and has had some bare knuckle fights under his belt too?
I think he's just as aggressive as I am. I think he, and of course in the heavyweight division, anybody that could throw a punch even halfway decent has knockout power. So that's the biggest scary piece of it, if you will. Is don't get caught. Don't get caught. Be sharp. Stay intelligent about things, and don't get sucked into a firefight like you did last time.
You're a veteran of this game. You've been around, so you've seen a lot. I think this was with Wilson, and then I want to believe there was Copeland, and before that there was Watson. How much of an adjustment has it been through this camp that there has been a multitude of names?
Not significant, but just enough. And thankfully, with the timing of the changes of the names, we've had more than enough time to make the adjustments where we're feeling plenty confident. It's a very, very different animal from the last fight where the opponent change was literally a week out.
Unlike MMA, where we've unfortunately been criticizing the heavyweight division, the influx of the MMA guys that have come over to BKFC has made this one of the most exciting divisions in the sport. Do you see title eliminator? What do you think after 4-0 comes next for you, looking at the landscape of the division?
I think it's going to be at least one more, if not two more fights. Definitely a ranked guy in there, maybe two more ranked guys, and I think that puts me in prime position and gives me the right to have that next title fight, especially if those are more first and second round knockouts.
After having had the time with the UFC, opening your own businesses, does this feel like a whirlwind that everything is coming together where you're number 4 in a division and now big things are right on the cusp of your combat sports career? We've also started doing all of these businesses outside.
100%. It feels like finally the hard work is paying off. I didn't have to sell out. I've been able to stay true to who I am and continue on the path that I started on, instead of having to divert 100% or completely change the destination.
Was there opportunities? Was that something that was presented with you that you almost had to deal with those options?
Here and there. It's more from the business side of things, not so much from the combat sports side of things, but being able to keep my coaching mentality the way it is, keep the way that I see martial arts training being for everybody, as opposed to, it's only for a select few. Training is for everybody. I don't necessarily think competition is for everybody, but everybody should be able to train. And there's no reason that, a pro shouldn't be able to train with a newbie. Different story. The newbie is not going to help him prepare for a fight, but if we're just doing regular out of camp training, there's no reason you can't bring your ego down to their level and teach them a couple of things and maybe even learn a couple of things because they asked you a question that you never thought of before.
We got to meet him on the UFC scene, and now we're getting to see him grow, thrive, and flourish here in the BKFC. They're back this weekend at Mohegan Sun, Saturday night, BKFC Fight Night. Parker Porter, thank you so much for the time, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome back. My fight show. Mika Frankl, quick catch of my breath there after talking with Parker Porter, UFC, CES, put in so much work across the New England scene to get his presence to be where it is at, to sell out an arena, give him an opportunity with BKFC, now truly thriving, and an opportunity that one more win to really have some big things ahead of him. The guests are coming fast and furious. The champ is here. The champ is here. It's not the first time, and it's not the last time I'm going to be saying that to. We talk a lot of MMA. We talk a lot of boxing, bare knuckle boxing, but you guys also know that pro wrestling is essential to me, a huge part of my life. Most of the time, most months, I'm able to get there and be live and local. Duke City Championship Wrestling, NWA New Mexico. Yes, it's that time of the month again. We're going to be stepping into the ring. Get it, got it, bueno. This Saturday, NWA New Mexico is back at the Rey Theater. And joining us tonight just isn't any guest. We had to go all out for this interview. We had to go to the top of the promotion. We've had Freddie Fame on. We've had the guys that sit behind the desk, but we had to get into the ring and get one of the champions, not just one of the champions, but the Polynesian Prince, the Samoan Nightmare, the leader of For Sale, the Duke City Heavyweight Champion is with us. Saleh Taylor, how you doing tonight?
What's happening? What's good? How you doing? How you feeling?
Man, I am honored to be in your presence, sir.
You're welcome. It's good. It's good. That's good.
Yes, it is. It is very good to get to talk to you. I've wanted to do this for a long time. For people that don't know, you're not just a professional wrestler, but you are a full encompassing entertainer.
It's one of those things where I just weaponize my ADD and just see what can get me paid that week. And it's one of those things. Overall, this is me being me right now. I'm a storyteller. That's who I am. That's what I do. So whether I'm acting, doing stunts on the stage with my band, whatever's needed, even working backstage stuff, behind the camera stuff, even as an assistant, I'll be the guy eating coffee. I don't care. I just want to help either tell a story or we're telling mine.
As a child, what was that first entertainment direction that really grabbed you? Was it music? Was it wrestling? What was it that you first indulged in?
It was all of the above, actually. It's in the family, as you know. But it started with church. Actually, that was one of the things that helped encompass like all of our gifts. So my mother and father ran the praise and worship team for the churches we grew up in, and the music was always a constant in there. But at the same time, wrestling was a constant. It's always been there. We would take part in church plays and all that stuff. So having built a foundation of acting and stuff. And there are times when the plays got physical, and we learned how to work safe from there. So a little bit of everything has been constant theme throughout my life.
I'm almost thinking that it'd be hard in your family, but were you always an outgoing entertainer, or is that just every child in the family?
Ooh. One of the coolest things about my branch of the family is that for the majority of us, you could either play music or you can sing. And I'm grateful and blessed that I'm one of the ones that can do both. I'm not even the best musician in my family. I'm not even the best actor in my family. Honestly, I'm not even the best professional wrestler in my family. It goes deep. And it's still astounding that I'm the first one in my family that's an NWA champ. That don't feel right. That don't feel right.
It's truly something remarkable and a tribute to the constant work that you have put in. When we talk about growing up around your family, where did you grow up exactly?
I was raised in Seattle, and then Oahu, Hawaii. My prayers to all my people out there. Those floods, the weather's getting heavy out there, man. Just helping everyone just staying safe out there. And then the Bay Area of Cali, where we spent a good portion of there. It's crazy though, because I think next year will be my 20th year in New Mexico. So now I think I'm a New Mexican. I got to say that. I think I spent the majority of my adult life in and out of New Mexico. Even though I went back to LA for a bit, I still had my place here. like let me just once again, this is me being me. There's something beautiful and special about New Mexico in general that helps young artists have the space, have the opportunities to grow in craft, grow in the craft creatively. I became a professional actor in New Mexico. I became a professional wrestler in New Mexico. I became a professional musician in New Mexico. The wonderful, beautiful opportunities that have come to me through New Mexico. I am forever grateful for this place. There's something fertile about it. And honestly, me being me, I'm honored to represent NWA New Mexico because, it's a heavy thing to carry, but man, I love it and I'm grateful for it.
Well, you probably bring me up to a great segue right there. New Mexico. A lot of people end up out here for various reasons, but Hawaii, San Francisco, Seattle, those are some options. And then you talk about 20 years setting up home base in Borque, in Albuquerque, in New Mexico. What was it that led you here and has made this feel like home?
I lost a bet. It's just here to, just here to do my time. No, I started out in state, so I went down to Cruces first. Opportunity came out there, then another opportunity came up to go to school at UNM, and then from there on, I broke into the film industry from when I came up here to Albuquerque, but that's where things just started moving into the weird journey, man. Like from working as an assistant behind the camera to having actors prefer me to work as an assistant, so they will take me to a few other places. I've been grateful to work in Tennessee, Ohio, and LA and New York, where people have just been taking me around and then having opportunities to get in front of the camera professionally. And here, LA, Portland. I have a project. There's a project with me in. I'm in a couple episodes of an upcoming show that will be coming out later this year. I'm really grateful. It's actually my first guest star role. So, man, New Mexico has been a beautiful thing. But I started out with school. I came out here for school, and I came out here to just, it was just one of those things. I was just doing as I was told.
You're at school, and as you're going through a college program, what was your major?
I started out with music at state, and as I was working there, they transitioned it into music business, which left a bad taste in my mouth. As I was finishing up my associates at Doña Ana Community College, I was starting my music. I was like, this ain't the move for me. Turns out I should have stayed, because music business, to learn anything about business, the business side of things, anyone that's working anything creatively, if you have an opportunity to take business classes in general, ethics, to learning how to properly promote yourself, you need to take advantage of that and learn that. But after that, then I came up to UNM, where I got accepted into the law program, and I was working on international law. And then I realized I'm done with dealing with these fake actors. I'm gonna just deal with some real actors. And got into the theater program, switched to there, and then from there, like, things just started happening. I started working in the film full time, because I had to pay out of pocket. I couldn't afford to stay in school, but like, I started working in the field I was studying. I'm still like maybe a semester or two away from getting my bachelor's, but I got my associates, baby.
As Saleh says, lawyer and law school. I was like, wow, we ended up with a 10,000-mile journey to entertainment. No, he said he got right out of there, knew it wasn't for him. That's the Saleh that we know. At what point do you fully go into the music and start to form a band, where we know you do that locally very successfully and with a very awesome sound?
It's funny. So music in general has been a constant in my life, and it always will be. So when I I was working at one of the restaurants out here. The general manager was saying, "Hey, we have a 10-year anniversary coming up, and we could use a band. You're always singing around the kitchen. Just if I tell you, hey man, I just need 2 hours for you guys to play." I was like, all right, cool. And then my first band was born like a few days later because one of my best friends, Benito Bachicha, we got together with our other friends, his roommates at the time, Peter Mayor, Mikey Hale, and formed the Dirty Shades. That was our first band. And then Amanda Morales came a little bit later. Dirty Shades was a beautiful thing. We started because my general manager of the restaurant I was working at needed a band, and we just formed one. We jammed, and then like, all right, let's do this. And from there on, I'm like, I love this. Excuse me. I love being in control. Not necessarily being in control, but like having to play the songs I want to play. I've always had like the family bands, the church bands, where we're doing as we told. Or better yet, because there's so many musicians, not everyone's guaranteed a spot to play. So sometimes you're just on the side waiting, and sometimes you don't play. Actually, a lot of times you don't play. So from there on, I got the band, the Dirty Shades. We had a fun run. We released an album, and when that time came up, the opportunity came for me to do my own thing. I'm also a music director where I represent several artists, where I will help design a live sound, help with arrangements. I'll go on the road with them, tour, play live, do all that stuff, and I will do various things. But I'm like, let's do my thing, and that's when For Sale came about. So that's my own band.
You are so incredibly nice and helpful to everybody, so joyful and giving. I think it's very appropriate then that you have to get all that evil out once a month for us at Duke City Championship Wrestling.
It's a good purge. I'm really grateful for it. And let's talk about For Sale a little bit. Let's talk about the dude, the Polynesian Prince, the Samoan Nightmare, the Minister of Defense, the For Sale himself, that Solly Taylor. He is a version of me that loves to get the frustrations out, but more importantly, he is the version of me that likes to tell the aggressive stories, like tell the stories with my body. I love where he's been going. We're shooting a bit right now, behind the curtain a bit, but he's the version of me that I would like to use sometimes in certain settings when I'm dealing with people. But I don't want to deal with a lot of paperwork. So I let cool heads prevail, and I love de-escalating. I love the art of verbal judo. But Saleh, the other Saleh, he don't know. He just throws.
You and Ronan, you guys have this Michael Myers-esque kind of aura to me, where it's like, hit these guys, and they're just still kind of walking forward. But much like one of your family members, like a certain Samoan werewolf, you have this next gear that you can change into like a fast burst at a moment also.
It's all about budgeting out your energy and knowing how to, like in short, when you're putting on a show and the type of matches that I like to have, even when I'm a musician, when I'm working live with the band, dynamics. It's all about dynamics, and you gotta pick and choose. You can't keep in the fourth gear the whole time. You got to work people up, slow down. You got to work people up, slow down. Let's go big down. Let's go home. I love live shows with the band where you can't keep it constantly up because you only have so much energy, even as a band. But more importantly, you have the people out there. They're comprehending so much that you're giving them. You can't keep it on too much. It's all about the fourth gear, but it's all about knowing when, but more importantly, knowing how to tell an appropriate story.
You have had the microphone in your hand for a long time, singing, and then we started to get to know you first as a voice of Duke City Championship Wrestling. Wrestling has run deep in your lineage. Was it always a plan to get physical in this sport, or did you start out just there at the desk without the intention of getting in the ring?
Well, funny thing, I did things back in the day, like over about 20 years ago, where I did some run-ins for one of my uncles and a few of my cousins, and we should not have been doing that. It was way too young, but we had I started doing stuff, but I kept up with martial arts throughout my life, whether American boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, to old style, like hard style Japanese jujitsu. Um, I've always kept up with things like that to help me keep in the physical. It's one of those things where I kind of need to feel pain, because the weird way of saying this, I have so many injuries where I'm always in pain, but I'd rather introduce pain that I know where it came from, if that makes sense.
A bit. You'd rather know why you're hurting than just wake up in the morning and what did I do last night? I went to sleep early and why am I so sore?
Yeah. So it's one of those things where life is pain. So I'd rather know why. So taking at then around an 18-year break from performing in the ring, an opportunity came. You mentioned the Samoan werewolf. Jacob was the reason why I got back in the ring. We were very fortunate that we were his very final indie booking before he signed to the big show, and he had offers. He was telling me he had offers, but I was like, hey man, we don't have that much of a budget, but at that time it was during Comic-Con weekend. I'll let you come out here, hang out with us. It's just gonna be fun. And he goes, you know what? If I'm taking a pay cut, I have a few things I want. I'm not gonna stay in a hotel. I was like, it's lonely on the road. I'm like, oh, of course, you're gonna stay with me, cool. And he goes, two, you're gonna cook me a home cooked meal. And he was like, yeah, I got you. And he goes, three, you're getting in the ring too. And from there, that's when I began my transition from being a voice of DCCW to getting involved in the ring. Had a nice little run-in with his match with Hobo Hank. They tore the roof off. But I'm very grateful. Have family that, we are forever tied to the show, tied to us show, tied to the industry, and we're looking out for each other. I keep thinking about how, again, I would love more of my cousins to come here, but if it makes sense in the story, let's go. If not, all right. But they're keeping me in mind over there as well. Like, get me going on the West Coast and let me go work over there. A few of my cousins, my little brother's in the ring now too. And I have a couple more cousins who are getting ready to start training, and this ain't the end of my generation. The next generation is only time can tell. I even opened it up still, like the nieces and nephews. If y'all want to jump in, let's go.
From that time away to the reintroduction with broadcasting to, we know how, and I've been around Jacob, so I know how persuasive he can be. The guy can talk, guys. You don't even understand a WWE. Have a one-on-one with the man. He is so persuasive. He is so personable, but he pulls you into this, and within a short time, you're the champion.
Yeah, that still surprises me. But I hope, I know that there are those who disagree with me being champ. I know that there are those who don't care. I know that there are those who are for it, but just know this: I carry it, and I feel the weight of it, and I am honored to have this opportunity to serve the show.
Man, you are absolutely awesome as a despicable character. I mean, you're so warm and happy now, but the cold 1,000-mile stare of hatred. I was just watching a promo where you're calling out Two Scoops. If you guys go back just to not last week's, but the week before that's Duke City Championship Wrestling up on YouTube. Absolutely terrifying, the anger that you portray.
Oh, that just taps into things that, You can't showcase what you don't know. I don't have hatred for Two Scoops, but I do have hatred of anyone trying to take the title away from me. I have hatred for those who think they can do this better than me. I have hatred for those who think they deserve a better spot than me. But I'm against the person? No. Oh, no. Because we want to get back and do this thing, but I don't blame the person. I blame the game. And so I protect the game. I protect mine.
Get it, got it, Bueno. Is this Saturday night, Rey Theater. It's Duke City Championship Wrestling. Let's get through the card real quick. We have from the big NWA, the women's television champion, Tiffany Nevis, coming down to take on Zamaya. That's going to be absolutely incredible. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you think is going to happen in that match?
Zamaya, speaking of another gear, Zamaya always finds something deep that she cannot show in the first place, that she cannot give you a chance to get there, because sometimes it takes a certain kind of pain threshold for her to cross, and then she digs deep and she gives you the pain that you've been giving her, and she makes you regret. Zamaya is a physical specimen that probably doesn't know the word pain threshold, actually probably doesn't understand the word I quit. Zamaya is insane, but Tiffany Nevis, who's been to the top, getting everywhere, who's still doing it, who knows how, who still can run it with anyone, at any time, anywhere. Nevis is going to come in. They're both. It's two Titanics on the way towards each other with an iceberg in the middle. The iceberg is the championships actually, and we're going to see which way leans, which way may go, which way may go down. But I know that to the last second, people won't be sitting all the way down.
I'd rather bump into Saleh's shoulder backstage than Zamaya's. She is absolutely terrifying.
She has a thing that a lot of people can't teach, and she has it.
Pretty City Express. They lost their titles last month, but heck, they made their NWA debut. Give them their flowers, even though most of us would hope there's a couple thorns on them for the way they've treated the crowd usually, but they take on RJ Wild and Enrique Calderon in their return here to the Duke City.
Always love for the MK Army. Pretty City Express will always have a place in my heart. Them two can, once again, another bunch of people that can just run it with anyone, anywhere, anytime, any place. But having to like really proud of them having the Power debut, and actually they are in the Crockett Cup.
Oh, great! The Crockett Cup. That's big news, guys.
You know that is something that like can't well deserved to those boys. But let's not sit it back with with a little El Chingon, which I faced one-on-one as well. And then who else is with him? You got
RJ Wild.
RJ Wild. I actually faced him too. He's fast and he hurts. So it's actually going to be a great match. They're going to be showcasing of speed, technique, professional wrestling, and strength from all of them, all four of them. It's going to be an amazing, insane match. There's going to be some highs, some lows, some mids, and some heart.
From your perspective on this other tag team match, it looks like it's the Avengers because you have Hobo, Hank, and Thunder teaming up to take on the unlikely duo, a little bit of a odd pairing with Charlie 50 and Brian Idol. They're not the kind of guys I would expect to see having beers together.
There will be beers, but I don't know. A lot of it being ingested, a lot of it thrown. It's gonna be a slobber beer fest. It's gonna be insane, man. Hobo Hank, the one I took the title from. There's still parts of my body that I'm still sore from that he's giving me. Like he hits to leave an imprint on you, on your soul. Thunder, who uses all of his insane like experience and know-how, very smart. He knows what he's capable of, and yet he can still get more. It's insane. Potential is a beautiful thing that he just keeps showing you more that he has. But then you got Charlie 50, the leader of La Migra, one of the leaders of La Migra, who is one person you don't ever want to underestimate. He's one person you don't ever want to give a chance to get the upper hand because he won't let off. But then on top of that, Brian Idol, the current NWA television champ, who goes all around the world. And he goes from death matches. He goes from submissions. He goes from table matches, ladders, chairs, to just straight up professional wrestling, even like a shoot wrestling. The man could do it all, and he hurts too. These are guys that like are really looking forward to hurt each other.
I don't want to meet Charlie 50 in an idol in a dark alley, excuse me. And I think Idol has something up his sleeve or a second plan that he's working on every time. He's always that consummate thinker.
He always has a plan in working ahead. You know, the things that he's exposed me to, though, is never underestimate.
Big slapper himself, Johnny Magna, takes on Jaden Monroe, who I feel like is having a change of heart over the last couple months.
Well, Jaden Monroe, I believe, won't be single in his toe. He will have someone dragging behind, whether if he likes it or not. El Pollo del Mar will be there, will be a presence. The champion of managers. That is someone that anyone, if you're smart, will welcome. And I love that you said that, Jaden Monroe is beginning to have some second thoughts because, El Pollo is someone that you need, that when they offer to be in your corner, you take that. But also, Jaden Monroe is not to be slept on himself. He can do it. He can grow the distance. The man's been working on himself, and he is trying to see his way into a better set. But there's a big wall in front of him. The man is ranked number 9 in the world, Johnny Magna, the man who hates everyone who loves him. it's insane. You want to talk about the way how I hate those who try to take my title. Johnny Magna just hates. And Johnny Magna has things to work out that he's not going to work out, but only see people in the ring and deal with. That's how he copes. That's how he works things out. See him in the ring. Let him feel the pain. Let him give you the pain.
I think he has trust issues. You hear the backstory, everything that he's went through. I just think right now he has trust issues and he's trying to carve out his own path. Well, on that other side, though, you did say sometimes people need other people. And you're right. It's hard to not say that a voice like Pollo del Mar, who's up in the NWA, is not a voice that would be worth heeding.
Pollo del Mar has taken people from glory to glory to glory. Mind you, our current NWA heavyweight champ, Silas Mason, used to be managed by Pollo del Mar back in the day. And that itself has left a lasting impression on Silas, how he works, how he books, how he travels. Pollo set up a lot of things for Silas, and Silas has followed through on the very footsteps that Pollo left before him. And look at him now.
Talking about going for greatness, Justin Taylor is going to be challenging Manny Lemons for the very prestigious Route 66 title.
Justin Taylor is someone that just is magic. Justin Taylor, I believe this will be a second time coming to DCCW, and the first time it's oh my gosh. People will never forget that, and I'm really excited to see how Justin is going to come out and show out. But then you got someone who I faced again, Manny Lemons, the best, the zest of the best, the king of the lemonade stand, all that stuff. But Manny Lemons is someone that has great momentum behind him. This man's a regular, getting more time on TNA, a national product. This is another man that has been killing in all the other promotions, not just his, but all the other shows he's been working on. The man books out. If he's not working at least 52 weekends a year, he's going to be working at least 72, 82. This man loves the business and is all about the industry, all about giving back. But also, whoever he's in the ring with, let me tell you from experience, things hurt. And, that match is going to be insane.
There's an MVD gauntlet match. Your boy, the now rejuvenated Anton Giovanni, is going to face more opponents than he has percentages of body fat, with both members of Sky High, El Leon, and Sancho Martinez across from him. And you like that body fat reference. I know it.
Good form, sir. This is not even his final form. Antoine Giovanni is taking into something deeper, better, more insane. This man, ever since he's joined For Sale, is so excited to showcase anything and everything, not being held back by anyone. This is going to be an insane match because Antoine Giovanni is going to be in control the entire time. But let's not forget, El Leon is young in his career. You know, he has a lot to prove. That's something that you don't want to ever underestimate. You know, and then you also have Sancho Martinez, who is actually getting more, mileage under his tires. He's working his butt off. The kid trains 6 days a week. You know, he's someone that's tapping into a cool ethic and a work passion for this. That it's only a matter of time before we all start seeing big results if we want to stick through it. But then you also have Sky High, who has so much experience, so much travel, who knows how to work, with anyone, everyone, who knows how to fight. You know, Sky High is something that more guys I faced before. I fought everyone in the locker room, just about everyone in the locker room.
It's not like you're a target or anything with
oh
the
my
title.
gosh, dang. But you got Sky High, who, from individual levels to even as a team, they are still considered a threat with whomever they share with.
Shout out to Sky High. If you guys didn't see it, it was 2 weeks ago, I believe, when AEW was in Tucson for Collision. We got to see the Ops beating up two gentlemen backstage. And if you guys didn't recognize, that was our very own Sky High, unfortunately, taking the beating.
Well, no, that's something we celebrate, though, because they're getting work. They're telling stories, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I was so excited.
I love popping for that when I see my people out there.
And now we get to, well, not your people, but again, last I saw of you, you were sitting on your steel throne, and Mr. Giovanni had just put a pummeling on Tommy Test. Now Tommy Test is coming back on the warpath to go after your right-hand man, Ronan.
Let me tell you something about Two Scoops. That was the very first time I felt my limit. That was the very first time I felt the threshold of what I'm capable of. He has something in him that if things move the wrong way for whoever he's sharing time with, it can be a really, really good, a really, really bad night. And Two Scoops has a long, beautiful journey ahead of him. He's been doing great time. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to wrestle him again. I don't. But then I did a good damn job. Anton Giovanni did a great damn job. But we have our gatekeeper who's going to finish the job. We have Ronan. We're going to witness the rise of Ronan, who's got to finish the job. That's all we need him to do. Show up, show out. This man is a big old body of muscle that you're going to have to work a lot to get around. You're going to have to do more than you think to get up and down. You got to dig in deep. And I don't think Ronan is going to let Tommy get there. But these two got a lot to prove against each other. They have a lot of history together. They got so much to showcase because of how this show is going to be. But I'm telling you right now, Tommy is an insane animal when he wants to be. But Ronan is the animal, is the beast.
Central, Route 66. We know it every Sunday. You see the car shows. This man has almost grabbed that culture and ingratiated it into his character, into his aura, into his essence. You have to put the title on the line against a guy that has captivated Borke in the lowrider Lonzo.
I don't want to make the mistake of underestimating anyone. But watching how Lonzo Romero works with anyone and everyone, I can't underestimate him because this man knows his stuff. He's, you know, with him being trained by Seth Rollins, it shows. Being trained by one of the best, and you can tell he hearkens to his training, and he hearkens to his people. He's all about that life. He's all about La Raza. And he's going to try and dip in and dig and grab from that and use that against me. But nah, man, it's never just me. It's always all of me. That's why we are for sale. He's gonna come at me with every which way and how. I don't know how to. I honestly don't know how I'm going to approach him. I'm gonna have to let him make the first hit, and then I take it from there, because I don't know how to prepare for him, because he has so many different ways of how he can attack. This man is smart. This man is fast. This man is technical. This man loves professional wrestling.
We are well over a year. And when I say you, no, Saleh, no, it's not. It's partly you, but I can't give you all the credit. It's you guys that are watching. It's you, the audience, the fans. It's the people that every month line up down Central, buy the tickets, go to holdmyticket.com, get there early, stay there late, spend the money on the merchandise. The meet and greets are crazy in between the matches. It's you guys that have helped bring life to NWA New Mexico, to Duke City Championship Wrestling, helping it become an NWA affiliate. It's truly been that infectious environment at the Rey Theater that has made this show so special. Get it, got it, Bueno Saturday night, Rey Theater. I encourage you guys, if you've never been before, you got to get there. It's one of the best local shows in all of professional wrestling.
It's gonna hurt. It's gonna be a beautiful thing, and it's gonna be a damn great show. Come on out.
Thank you for the time, champ.
Thank you.
Deep breath. We're back. That was amazing. Saleh Taylor, Polynesian Prince, Samoan Nightmare. I'm shivering. Duke City Championship Wrestling. Support it this weekend, guys. Rey Theater. Get it, got it, Bueno. You're going to see some of the stars from the NWA right here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Just like last weekend, we had stars all over the place at Fight World 43, at APFC, where you had the meet and greet, Dustin Poirier, Anthony Pettis, and the champs that are going to take the step this summer to that next level. The gentleman is here. Can't wait to talk to my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, and I am so happy to talk to you, my friend.
It's like and still the gentlemen are APFC reigning and defending. 3 wins in a row, all stoppages in the APFC, 2 submission of the year contenders, and now a knockout of the year contender, Jalin Fuller. That better?
Oh, that was wonderful. That was immaculate.
We get the introduction out of the way now, proper for you. And how does it feel? What was camp like? I got to ask first off, defending. Like, this was new territory for you, having to defend that title. Did camp feel any different?
Camp felt different, but not in the way of, oh, this is a title defense, we got to hang on to what we got. I'm really trying to never get into the just keep what you got mentality and mindset. I'm still on the attack. I'm just attacking the division now from my pedestal on high.
From that perspective, the whole team was on the card. What was the flow and the vibe leading up to Fight Night?
Leading up to Fight Night, the vibe and flow, honestly, it was really, really good. But, this is a lot of camps back to back to back for all of us. including my Muay Thai scrap just in the last 14 months. Been through 4 training camps. Mark the Hoss Hussey, been through it. Similarly, Brendan Johnson, Peyton, Elijah, all those guys, we've all been nonstop, really nonstop. So that aspect of it has been great because it's it's easier to go through that type of a situation when you got the boys with you, when you guys are all prepping and getting ready to go through battle together. So honestly, I love that type of a feel. It's always better for fight camp when it's you with somebody else. Always better.
The night isn't going how the team planned out. I know that you've been through nights like that before, having been around. What are the keys for you in your position to still be able to stay mentally focused in, well, we know you're still aware and compassionate of what your team is going through on the night?
Honestly, it's taking their losses and not only just my team's losses, but every New Mexico guy that lost because most of these guys, as you know, are a lot of my close personal friends who I've been training with and in this game with for 10 years as a pro, for about to be 7 years now that I've been with these guys. So everybody who took a L, Jess who took a L, Hoss who was having a really great performance and then just got caught up, Brendan who just got clipped on the entry, Peyton's fight where he was also putting a lot of pressure on his opponent, dropping his guy, rocking his guy. And so I was like, you know what? I'm about to kind of put myself in that team captain type of a role and be like, no, I'm putting the team on my back. I'm putting the state on my back, and I'm running through this kid.
You did that, and we get out to the fight. Before we get to the fight, though, actually, there's this moment, though, before we get to the fight. Did you know you had him at the weigh-ins? Because there was this push, and then I heard your rebuttal to him was something like you were getting the nerve up to do that all day, and it just was such a cold mic drop of a line that everyone I shared that line with wanted to run and place money on you.
It's this the whole incident. I'm positive because it's a fight game. Yeah, we're gonna push. Some people are gonna push and shove. I know it's all entertainment. I know none of it is personal, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, you worked up the courage all day long to be like, no, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna push him. I'm gonna put on a show and be that guy. And I'm like, you can't be that guy with me. All right, that's not possible. So as soon as he pushed me, I literally couldn't help but laugh. And I found it to truly be adorable, which is why I said it right out loud. I was like, that was adorable, man. It was so cute that you worked yourself up to do that all day long, and you actually did it. Good for you.
Our special guest weigh-in official, Steve Garcia, who was in for the photo ops because Anthony Pettis was delayed, unfortunately, is like, guys, I'm not here to actually break up a fight.
That's why I had to let him know immediately. I was like, you're fine. I was like, everybody, we're fine. We're fine. I'm not tripping. I'm not stressing. All right. And it's like I told him, this is a grown man's world. All right. Schoolyard tactics don't work around here. That's it.
Did you feel that was it, that mentally there had been something taken off of his steam with the way that you just calmed the entire situation? You have this ability to take over a crowd.
Kind of. I kind of thought he was going to get like this almost like last word type of a moment with him doing that. And then he went to not address me afterwards. He went to address the crowd and the people who were there afterwards. And I was like, no. I will be doing that. I will now be taking command of the scene.
I have already learned now. Your entrance is happening. I got to get a phone out. I have to be ready. I sent you the video from my perspective as I'm able to get you and John and the backside of your twerk, unfortunately for me. But yeah, that plan and all vibes again. Yes, I just said the backside of your
twerk. So we were vibing all camp. Like John was like, what are you doing? What are you walking out to? And I was like, I'm not telling you. I don't want people to think that it's planned. I don't want people to think we're plotting. and scheming this type of a thing. But I just saw that reel like on TikTok and Instagram with that dude coming out to Kalani folded, dancing in the snow, and then he hit that, and I was like, you know what? I think it would be awfully nifty if I took a dude out right after, right after I got done twerking on my entrance.
Oh my gosh. You own the crowd. You have the moment. What does that feel like? Now, you've done it a couple times in Isleta, this time coming in as the champ. Was there a different feeling, vibe, energy that you got?
I would say that there was a different vibe. There was definitely a different energy, but the different energy was coming from me. Like the energy from the crowd was the same. It was electric. They know when I'm walking out, they know a show. They know they're about to get a show. But for me, again, it was the fact that the night was going the way that it was going for my team and my friends. And I was like, oh, hell no. I'm just not. I'm not putting up with any of this. But when Kalani started to bump on the speakers, that more intense part of me did have to take a back seat for a moment because I was like, all right, hold on. Now you still got to do what you do to make sure that you're right before you step into that cage.
Did you start out the fight the way you intended? It felt like you were kind of calculating and letting him throw some things back. Was that the thought process?
That was the thought process because for me, I thrive off of picking up a guy's timing. I need to feel your speed, and that way I can actually start to build my game and my tactics around it. You know, no one's battle plan is perfect off of that first encounter, that first clash, unless you end up in one of those we both threw and I hit him first and he's out in the first 10 seconds. No battle plan survives first initial contact. So I'm very big on getting out there, throwing something quick to let them know, hey, you're in a fight and this is my turf. This is my pace that I'm setting. But at the same time, I want him to pull into me a little bit. I need some ebb and flow. It takes two to tango. So I have to be able to pick up on his tempo, his tactics, and what his game plan is. So I know that I'm not about to walk into something foolish like I've done in the past.
Were you surprised with his willingness to go kick for kick with you? There was quite a heavy couple minutes in there where you're attacking oblique kicks and leg kicks both. And I was surprised he was willing to duel with you in that realm and just go tick for tat.
I wasn't actually watching his tape and his footage. I know that not only is he an American top team guy, he's a Douglas Lima guy from ATT Atlanta initially. So I was like, oh, his whole game is built around that, in my opinion, his calf kick setups, his rear leg attacks. And then he usually catches you on your entry with that lightning fast overhand to lead hook combination that he throws so well. So I knew going into this fight, this is going to be a very kick heavy matchup. Fortunately for me, that's exactly where I thrive. So I could feel whenever he would land on me, he threw this one high kick, like right out the jump. And I did not respect it and didn't brace the way that I should. And it glanced off of me a little bit. And I was like, okay, never again. But I needed that though, because I got to feel the exact amount of power he's throwing through with his. And then I feel like I really started to take control of that kick battle, especially after I landed my big roundhouse to the body and started to retake the center of the cage.
Not to mention, there just seems to be this point. It's probably where the act kick starts to come down. Maybe it was where you try to slap him in the face with the hook kick, where I'm like, I think we're seeing like Jalen's pissed in there. It looked like all of a sudden there was a point where, that somewhere around the axe kick, I think you were pissed.
But it turns into okay, I've played around long enough. Now let's actually get the tempo that I've been drilling and prepping all fight camp. I'm going to put that pace and pressure on you right now. And most people can't kick in rapid succession the way that I kick in rapid succession and then collapse right down into hand combinations right afterwards. It's because I'm a student of the game and not just MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai. I study Japanese kickboxers, Muay Thai kickboxers, Thai boxers, Japanese boxers, whoever, because I'm always trying to learn and better my game. So as soon as I threw that the question mark kick and tapped him with it, and then I knew I got him right in the eye. I knew I landed right in his eye, and then he went to wipe it and then give me a nod. And I was like, I'm not nodding with you, dog. Like, we're not doing the, hey, you got me. All right, that was a good one. Now I'm about to press you. And that's when I went for the rear hook kick right into that chest teep. And I've been making sure that all my teeps, usually I'm an abdomen hunter guy, but there was something about the fight night. I wanted him to think that that teep was near his chin at all times so I could bait that reaction down. So I kept on placing it like more so toward his chest or flaring it right in front of his mouth. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, I've got it. Step in, big 1-2 into that lead elbow, and then double tap the rear knee, and he's out of there.
And that's exactly what happened. Did the first knee land?
The first knee landed. And when the first knee landed, I felt his arms plop down. And that's when, watching back in the footage, I found out I was right. It looked like he took the bow, got a little bit damaged from it. To me, seemed like he was rocked. I threw one knee, but didn't let go like I did with the second one. And I felt his arms go from up here to they drop down and then flash back up. And I was like, I think there's a chance I just flashed you. I think I just flash KO'd you. I'm going to do it again and see if you picked up on that. And I mean, and all these thoughts happen in a split second. You just notice it and then you go. And after I dropped him with that second knee and his body just lumped down into the cage, I was like, yeah, game time. It's over.
Yeah, a couple more shots. Maybe you landed. The ref's jumping in. He's tackling a ref's leg, and it's all she wrote. As good as it could have been. It went according to plan, as good as you could have planned.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Dotson wanted him out of there in 2 minutes. I was happy with getting him out of there in under 2 rounds because I didn't want to expose myself to such a naturally gifted, young, talented guy. But Dotson was like, you could have gotten him out of there sooner because you could have started that pace and pressure whenever you wanted.
What does that tell you? A performance like that and having this kind of success?
It tells me what people like you and other like diehards of this sport have known for a long time. I've been at that UFC caliber level. I've been there for several years now, and I just haven't gotten the opportunity to showcase that. And now, after this win streak that I'm on right now, the guys who I've taken out, beating Mac Larson was huge, who in my opinion is a much higher level guy than Christian Turner is. I was much more nervous to fight Mac, who was the #1 fighter in Canada. And I think he was Tapology's ranked #3 in all of North America. Then I fought Mark, who I knew was just a bulldozer of a dog for the belt itself. And then taking out American Top Team's next up-and-coming guy. Like, we all know that was their guy. They're like, we're bringing this dude to the main location. We're going to give him all the access, all the resources, because we think he's going to be in the UFC. He thought APFC 22 was going to be his launching pad to get his immediate call up. And he had to find out, I'm not these other dudes. I've been at this level. And even the dudes who have gotten by me who are in the UFC, many of them, there's no question I'm still better than.
You derail the hype train. That's an easy one to put out there. You do it in a highlight reel fashion. We're already talking about knockout of the year, quality performance, contender series or bust. Is that what we're thinking right now?
I don't think that we'll be getting the contender series call up. Based on what I've noticed, the contender series as well as the Ultimate Fighter, they have a bit of an age cap, is what I've noticed. This is truly for their younger up and coming prospects. I'm most likely getting my short notice call up. I've noticed that that's kind of the trend for those guys, which I'm fine with. I know that they're having trouble finding guys for like Jacoby Smith and I think DeMarcus Jackson, I believe, who just had his fight at middleweight. He started off at heavyweight, dropped down to light heavyweight, and then dropped down to middleweight now. I believe I'm saying his name correct. Yeah, Johnson, yes. So I know that those are the type of guys who they're having trouble finding matchups for. I've never been hard to find, and I'll clean up either one of those guys. Weight class be damned. 170, 185, I'm more than ready and willing. 170 is always going to be ideal. That's my weight class. That's my home. But there's no question that I can take out many of these 85ers as well.
What has happened since returning? 4 fights, 14 months. What's happened over the last 16 months? You've never been this direct with wanting that path. You've never been this vicious in the cage.
Honestly, it's just the quiet mouths don't get fed. We're past that point in MMA as a culture where your work speaks for itself. You have to call your shot, you have to demand your shot, and you have to have performances that back up those demands. If you don't already have a tight end with a management team like Iridium, who makes up like 40% of the UFC's roster, I'm like, that's a huge constant conflict of interest, in my opinion. But they make up that much of the roster. Those are the guys who are getting their immediate shots when they've only got 3 fights, 3 pro fights or 4 pro fights or something like that. And then there are other fighters who are even more decorated than myself, who are like 18-2 or something like that, still waiting to get their call up. But it's because they're just thinking, my work is enough. It's not enough anymore. It's not enough anymore. So you have to call it. You got to demand it. And once you've called it out and you demanded those shots, you have to perform to show that you deserve it.
Let's be clear, everybody. The man wants the UFC. But as a worldly MMA fan, I gotta know when this morning news hits and you see that Rousey Carano card, the article's up at cageminds.com. If you don't know what I'm talking about, 8 more fights dropped today, including a couple French prospects and some people. What do you think of the card? Not the business, not just that card. Tell the people how good it is.
Okay, so this card is actually, I will say, better than a lot of people are giving it credit for. I'm seeing a lot of haters being like, oh, this is just a bunch of washed up ex-UFC scrubs. I'm like, no, this is a bunch of former highest level stars that they used to have, who all of which are competing and doing their own thing and performing well. Mike Perry versus Nate Diaz. I am excited to watch that fight. That is about to be a thugged up fight. And I'm just going, you call the spade on this one. Mike Perry is going in there to swing and bang, all right? And Nate Diaz is going to try to swing and bang with him, but he's going to try to get to that clinch and try to clinch box, dirty box him up. But Mike Perry is now the king of the dirty box game, with it being his own promotion. He's ready for that type of stuff. I'm so excited for this card. Francis Ngannou's making his long-awaited return. I just wish those breaks for him weren't so dang long and far in between. Man, Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey, the MMA fight. I'm gonna go Ronda. I think I have to go Ronda. She's just based off both their primes. Ronda is still just better than her. And then Gina Carano, younger as well. I never like to bring that up with ladies. I am a gentleman.
You are.
But Gina Carano, her striking has always been impressive, but Ronda Rousey is no longer the type of woman who's like, yeah, I'm going to stand here and box and do stand up with anybody. No, she's not doing that anymore. She's going to go in there and try to flip you and drop you on your head and then armbar you. And I think she can still do that to Gina Carano.
That's a very good possibility. And then I know you'll know the name. Some people won't recognize them, but you know how good Robles de Spain is, really how good he is, not just UFC, what happened.
Yeah.
You know how good Adriano Moraes is. You have seen Saldin Parnas, who's been killing it 2 divisions over in KSW. Could you speak anything about those 3 gentlemen, just to put it more out there so people know? So
anybody who doesn't know Adriano Moraes right now, you have a problem, and you're not probably a combat sports fan. That's the man who's knocked out Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, dog. Okay? Yes, he did not come up on top in their trilogy, in their multiple fights. He did not. He lost. But that's fine. He still showed he's got more than whatever it takes to handle any of these dudes who he's going up against. That's a top 3 / UFC champion caliber fighter, hands down, no questions asked. Just because he got beat by Yu Wakamatsu and DJ doesn't magically make this dude wash. Those are, again, 2 of the best, I think, 5 flyweights to ever do it. And we just mentioned 3 of their names right there: Adriano Moraes, Yu Wakamatsu, and DJ. Because most of these dudes' losses are just amongst each other. So there's no getting around that. You can throw Big Daddy Kyoji Horiguchi up in that mix as well. But as far as Adriano Moraes is concerned, that's a dude to watch. He's legit. He's for real. As far as our man from KSW to Spain, oh my God.
Parnas.
Sorry. He's two division champion. Okay. People underestimate the level and quality of competition in KSW. They highly underestimate that place. They sell out huge arenas, huge stadiums, 40 to 56,000 people filled arenas for these guys fighting. There's reasons why dudes who are fighting in KSW say, I'm not going to go over to the UFC. I make more here at KSW, or I'm an even bigger star here in KSW than I would be in the UFC. They get that royalty treatment over there at KSW to where they're walking around in their day-to-day lives not paying for meals because these dudes are treated at just a higher echelon of tier of respect. Crazy power, crazy speed for his division, crazy speed. Okay? Power that translates to upper weight classes. I'm getting all antsy and geeked up about this dang fight.
It's exciting. No, it's really that good, people. It really is. Listen to the man. He knows what he's talking about.
Okay, and then the final gentleman who I said his name prematurely to Spain. I am excited for him. He's incredibly talented, but I don't put him on the same pedestal as the other 2.
He's an older guy. His MMA game isn't as refined, but he is going to make an interesting matchup with Dos Santos. He tries to hit from awkward angles, and we know that Dos Santos is going to be classically, technically boxing. So it's an interesting kind of mashup. Which one kind of intercedes the other?
I would say the Spain because, correct me if I'm wrong, he is a bronze medalist in Taekwondo, correct? I believe his distance management is going to be the key factor if he decides to use his distance management skills. Because if he just tries to go in there and slang and bang with Junior, yeah, he can catch him. He can clip him. He's enormous, so of course he could. But Junior Dos Santos is a dude who is he's more comfortable in the pocket than loose change. Okay, that man is going to sit there, holster it down, and he will land that sharp overhand to hook combination that he also does so dang well. He's going to be looking to calf kick and chop down at Despain, but if he keeps himself moving, if he stays fluid and lets his kinetic vision do the work, I think he can pull this off over JDS.
That loose change line was as good as earlier when I was on with Saleh. I'm not sure if you heard it. We have Antoine Giovanni this weekend. It's 1-on-4. I said he's wrestling more guys than he has percentage of body fat on his body. That was also a killer line, but you got me with yours. That was really good. This weekend, I saw a familiar finish. It kind of looked like something that you might do. Yeah. We saw these elbows to defend a takedown from Costello Van Steens. What did you think of the middleweight title defense? Besides, we don't know, and no one knows what Fabian Edwards was thinking wrestling. No one knows.
Because he was, in my opinion, he was winning the stand-up affair. Fabian was winning that fight. And then I don't know what the game plan was. I don't know if they just saw something in his skills, or they're like, this dude's a fluke on the ground. Maybe they just thought if Fabian's big ass gets on top, he can finish him off. Maybe that was just what they were thinking. maybe just taking away the puncher's chance. That could have been what they were thinking. But those elbows that he landed, this might be controversial to say because after looking over multiple different angles, multiple different replays of it, because I'm not huge on me getting on social media and getting into the comments. For that one, I was like, that looks like every shot was to the back of the head to me. So I would say though, if the ref doesn't call it, then it don't matter what anyone else says. And he put himself in that position. You cannot shoot on somebody up against the cage and hang out there. We've been seeing that since Travis Brown in 2013 when he first started teeing off on I don't even remember who it was who he got with those elbows from that position, but he smoked him out with those bows. And ever since then, every year without fail, we see somebody shoot for these takedowns, lock their hands on that double, and instead of ripping that person out, they try to catch their breath first. And then they eat a big elbow that locks them up, and then they eat a bunch more, and then they're out. So I'm just,
trying to find out one that you're talking about. I'm looking for it right now. I know that Travis Brown also made those really popular, crumbling a couple guys towards their knees. Costello Van Steen's, controversial as it is, he gets the victory this weekend. It's Johnny Eblen, Brian Battle in Pittsburgh, most likely number one contender in the Steel City. It's wrestler versus a guy that started as a wrestler and found his heavy hands. I always enjoy your insight. What do you think about this one?
I think that first off, Brian Battle at 185. I know he's had trouble making 170, but I think he's a true tweener. I think that he's the guy who needs the 75 weight class, which wouldn't exist, which can't exist without 165. So Evelyn, who is such a heavy wrestling presence, it's going to be rough. But Johnny hasn't been relying on his wrestling as much. He's been being a little bit more open to exchanges, which has been causing him to gas more, take more damage, and end up in positions to get submitted and finished by guys who he shouldn't be getting finished or submitted by. In my opinion, skill for skill. So I'm gonna go Johnny Eblen in this fight, but there's something about Brian Battle's ability to find a finish that if you're a betting man and you're wanting to put dark horse money, I would put it on Brian Battle. But if you're a smart bet man, then you're gonna want to go Johnny Eblen for this fight.
Ipa Kasong and I, Dalton Rosta, where we're talking about the middleweights. This card has two of them right at the top. And Kasong and I, he kind of came out of nowhere unexpectedly in 2023, wrecked the light heavyweight division of the PFL. And since that time, some of the size disparity did catch up to them. And it seemed like he's almost had a rough refooting, finding himself again at 185. Rosta got head kicked in his last fight. So both of these guys, backfield's kind of against the fence already coming in.
I would agree with that 100%. Usually, when you've done a couple of weight class jumps like Ipa has, that's usually your one opportunity to rebrand yourself, which he did when he won the PFL tournament and became the world champion. But then he had to fight. It wasn't just, oh, let me fit in to this spot in the tournament when people are already deeper into the tournament. You know, it's not like he started off at the PFL tournament from the jump at 205. He filled in. Okay. So then now that he has to go up against these dudes when they're fresh, when they're not off of that extreme PFL fight camp schedule of almost every 6 weeks, it's a different beast when those guys don't have to maintain their weight so small and they're actually able to be their full filled up cells. And he has to go in there against them and feel that size and power difference. He's not a small 85er, but he's not a big 85er either. I mean, him and Joaquin Buckley dang near looked the same size when they had fought back in 2022, I believe, when he got hit with that highlight reel knockout. So I would still favor Ipa because Mr. Kasunganai, because he has shown the ability to battle back when his back is against the wall better. He's used to this pressure.
And because we're both MMA nerds, names that MMA nerds will understand: Julio Arce, Alan Bagoso, Natan Schulte, Robert Watley faces Dakota Bush. You have Mizuki Karuki, or you know who I'm talking about, even though I'm
Yeah.
mispronouncing that. Even Josh Frem is on this card. So from a hardcore perspective, how do you feel about the depth?
I feel like the depth is, I would say this is, if you were to compare it in UFC terms for a casual fan to understand, this is low to mid tier UFC depth. Josh Frem is a dude who honestly just had to fight hammers, but he's a former LFA champ who just got thrown to the wolves too soon. Like he was in there, I think his first UFC fight was RoboCop. Like while he was on the come up, I'm like, that's a crazy dude to have to go in there straight from the LFA to then go and scrap with that man. Like that's a one hitter quitter guy. And
Fighting
I think,
RoboCop, Hernandez, and Kopylov.
yeah, that's no easy task. That dude had a murderer's row for his entry into the UFC, and people will just see that he lost. He went 0-3 in UFC. I believe 0-3. I think he got one W. I believe so. Actually, I think I'm not too sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Two. He ended up with 2 wins. But people look at his resume and they're like, "Oh, UFC reject." I'm like, no. Some of these dudes are in the top 8 of their division right now, top 10 of their division, putting on a show every time. Like, so I think that Josh Friend is actually, he's my pick for this card. He's a guy who I've got my eyes on the most because I think he's going to rise to the occasion.
The VFL is in Pittsburgh. We just talked about APFC, an incredible night, and still, what is it like hearing that?
I love it. It feels comfortable. It feels right.
He's like, it's nice. It's like the couch I'm laying on. It feels good.
Yeah, it's like super cozy. And I don't think it's going anywhere until I decide I'm done with it.
Is there now a different kind of mindset towards dieting and towards preparation, thinking that the outlook is we're waiting for the short notice call? So how do you keep healthy but keep ready and all of these things that you got to balance?
Honestly, with help of my strength and conditioning coach Luke at Rough Rider Barbell Club, and John Dodson, we're able to get it all handled. Ever since my fight against Gabe Saunders, I've always been locked in now on nutrition and diet. My process is amazing. Yes, I go into weigh-ins with a pretty solid 6-pack, and then most of it's gone by the time we show up fight night. And I'm like, I'll take that for peak performance. I'll take that every day of the week, which is something I learned from my strength and conditioning coach. He said, I don't care how it looks. I care about how that muscle's performing. That's all I care about. And I was like, okay, you're right. Big man, you in charge. You're in charge. I'll trust you to it. So honestly, we're just going to keep our weight low, very manageable, but not too low. I can make 170 on 2 weeks' notice, even if I was high 90s, but I'm looking to keep myself in that 80 zone.
He is the gentleman. He is the APFC Welterweight champion. It was great getting to talk to him. We'll be hearing much more from him really soon. You have a great night, Jalin.
Thank you. You too, brother.
The gentleman joining us. Thank you to everybody. Real quick, before we get out of here, a huge weekend, not just with UFC Seattle. We got the preview on MMA After Hours, full recap of UFC London, and me and Michael Carlisle sharing our thoughts, dissecting that entire MVP card that was just announced. This weekend, you also, besides the PFL in Pittsburgh, besides the UFC in Seattle, besides all of the great local action, we also have BKB 52, no turning back this Saturday night. It's the first time that they're in Connecticut. You have title fights galore, light heavyweight title, the champion Swanson defending, Cub Hawkins, Swanson, UFC fighter, Cub Hawkins, 2-division BKB champion defending against UFC vet Jesse Ronson, Yampier Rodriguez and Ash Williams, duel for the featherweight title, super cruiserweight championship, Alex Wilson versus Julian Marquez. It's a bunch of destruction. These collisions are built for it. So you have BKB, not to mention BKFC vet Zach Kalmus on that card. DJ Linderman, former champion, taking on UFC and former peak heavyweight champion Braxton Smith. Bubba McDaniel, former Ultimate Fighter, UFC vet on the card. Beksad Usmana, formerly the number 3 ranked contender in the BKFC Bantamweight division, debuts inside of the Trigon. Looking forward to an incredible night of action. Brandon DeRocher also stepping in the Trigon. You see all the action on Vice TV. Also, Saturday night, we talked to the headliner. Bare Knuckle is back in Connecticut. Dueling Connecticut bare knuckle cards. Mohegan Sun is hosting BKFC. It's Foxwoods for BKB. And your main event is heavyweights as the unbeaten Parker Porter, number 4 ranked, you heard from him earlier, steps inside against the dangerous Hayes Wilson. Wilson, kickboxing vet, has a bare knuckle title in another promotion. 2 big men throwing bombs. You never know what could happen in that kind of circumstance. I would say the favorite, for good reason. The experience, the higher level that he's been effective at would be Parker. But these are big dudes and anything could happen. The card is a stacked one. Pat Casey taking on Zeb Vincent in a middleweight showdown. Vincent was once ranked at welterweight. Can he get things back on track? Rising finisher, knocking on the door of the lightweight rankings. Rico DeSula looks to keep things alive when he faces Elijah Harris. Gary Bellotto Jr., 2-0, is returning to face Adam DeFreitas, and in a guaranteed night of huge action. No gloves, all punches, and a huge amount of blood usually accompanies it, whether you're watching BKB or BKFC. BKB, a triple header of title fights this weekend. BKFC, rising stars towards the heavyweight, light heavyweight division. If you're local and looking to get out, Overtime Bar and Grill, Nowhere to Run Kickboxing, starting at 6 p.m. Or if you're getting downtown, Duke City Championship Wrestling, Get It Got It Bueno, HoldMyTicket.com. Sale Taylor, the infamous ruler, will be happy to see you there booing him. CageMinds.com. It's been a fun night tonight. Thank you to all my guests, Jimmy Dukes, to Parker Porter, to Saleh, and Jalin Gentleman Fuller. Thank you guys all so much. Barber Gabe's Fades. Find them at 100 Coors Boulevard Northwest. It's Lobo Plaza and Suite 107. Go over and book your appointment on barbergabesfade.net. It's where you get the wonderful beard balm. And the gentleman, that interview was brought to you by Robbie Ray Images. Get on over and check out the Instagram and the Facebook, because he's got a lot of great images up from APFC 22. Tomorrow, we will have Pro Wrestling After Hours out. There's tons of chaos in the world of the WWE and the AEW for me and Michael Carlisle to dig into. This weekend, ESPN Radio Albuquerque, 1017 The Team. It's Cage Minds Fight Hour, where I'll be talking to combat sports veteran, kettlebell enthusiast, clothing designer, stuntman, Conrad Padilla. He's a jack of so many trades. Check that one out. Thank you guys and have a great night. This was a ton of fun. Thank you all for watching.